This is part two of my end of the semester prompt dump. I've spent the past year teaching English writing courses at a university in Korea, and these are some of the prompts that I found most useful. This video is about prompts that can be used for AI texting simulation. Uh, these work with all the different generative AI tools. I think ChatGPT provided the best results, and it's certainly what students used most often. This was a really simple but effective way for students to have kind of realistic English texting practice. And there are a number of different scenarios that they could choose from. I'm going to share some of them in the order of popularity. And we begin with arguments. This was a really interesting experience. I created this prompt for students to have an argument with uh, AI via text, which is sort of a very common real life situation. And I included, pretend that you are and set up the scenario, friend, roommate, parent, and we're arguing because of whatever. Do not be overly positive. Use informal language and be appropriately angry, defensive, and stubborn. And oh boy, was it. It was the nastiest I had seen ChatGPT be. Normally, these AI models are very kind of positive and encouraging and happy, happy. Not in this case. It was annoyingly confrontational and combative. And so much so that I created the second prompt that is a more polite version where I say the aim is to resolve our conflict and you can start out being stubborn, but let's try to solve the conflict. It was some students really enjoyed the combative nature of it. I think some were a little bit disturbed. So use the rude prompt with caution. Second most popular was probably a job interview because, like students everywhere, my students are concerned about what happens after university. And this was pretty simple but effective. I mentioned to ask questions that are relevant to that job. And they would ask appropriate questions, many common job interview questions, but the AI did a really good job of asking the follow-up questions that would be relevant to whatever job they were applying for. And as most of these prompts, I try to include a limit to how long AI texts because often they will go on a lot longer than desired. So I usually say keep it to, no more than two or three sentences. Um, so students around the world, young people, and some of us old people are always thinking about what to do with the future. What kind of jobs? Where are we going to live? What about my life goals? And so this prompt, figuring out your future, was very engaging for many students. So you just say, I want to talk to you about what I want to do in the future, both professionally and personally. And the AI will ask questions that are at first a little bit annoying, but they kind of make you think, and then it will keep asking follow-ups to the point of driving people crazy at some point. And so there's a part two prompt, which is let's move on. Ask me a fresh question. In some cases, students want to drill down into a particular topic, but sometimes if they want to switch topics, that gives them that option. And at the end, you can just say, based on our conversation, what career or life paths best suit me? And they would get some thought-provoking responses. Um, Similarly, I think many people's usage of these Gen AI tools are just kind of talking about life. And so students could do this as if they were talking to a friend, or they can choose a celebrity, historical character, whomever they want, and help me understand my feelings and make decisions about, things I might be facing in the future. And I've had some students who really kind of had meaningful, lengthy exchanges about whatever they were dealing with. Um, I think in some cases, people can be more open or honest with uh, AI than they can with their friends or family sometimes. So, no huge surprises or revelations, but definitely some meaningful potential with that prompt. This was one that I had hopes for, but it never achieved its potential. So uh, imagine that you've connected on a dating site or app, and we're getting to know each other via text. When we first tried it, the feedback I got from students was, oh, this is really kind of boring. I feel like I'm being interviewed. It doesn't feel realistic. And so I added, be appropriately curious, romantic, and flirty. And it was a little better, but still not quite realistic. So we're still tweaking this one. If you have any ideas, let me know. Debate. So lots of different possible debate topics they can choose from, and they can choose their position and debate back and forth. Or if they'd like to ask for just a random topic, then the AI will choose a topic and a side, and they can practice with that. So I came up with this prompt, a character interview, thinking like, imagine you are a character from a fictional situation or a historical situation or a celebrity, and they're being featured in an article, and AI is interviewing them. And I originally thought, okay, the student will answer as that person. And some people tried that. But what I found more students were interested in doing was being interviewed as themselves. And so the variation is a student interview. So students can just provide a little background. I am a second year student majoring in whatever and whatever else they want to say about themselves. And they're being interviewed for a feature article, asking me questions. And that I think was interesting for some students. Whatever prompt they've or simulation they've been trying, this is sort of my standard language feedback prompt where I ask AI to analyze the transcript, suggest fixes to grammatical errors or optional modifications. And so that way students can get language-related feedback to all the texting that they've done. So all of these prompts and more examples and information can be found at englishwithjeff.com, along with some of my other prompts from the past year and other teaching materials. Thanks.